All right, it is Tuesday, September 26th. It's about 11:15 a.m. I'm going to be calling it for a day here. I got some things I have to do. Interesting day for me, but as you can see, I was 4-1. I started off the day with a loss, and then got 4 winning trades after that to bring my P&Ls back to green. What can I say? A high probability strategy can absorb a loss is what we learned today. I really believe that I can get 10, 11, 12 or more wins for every one loss. And as long as I'm doing that with this strategy, at the end of the day, this is what should happen. Red P&L turns to green, whether it's in a single day, over the course of many days or weeks. I should be able to stay above water and keep staying green ultimately with the strategy. So let's take a look right now at how the day went real quick. And I'm going to turn these off so we can see the chart. So today has been a very bearish day overall. This isn't even, let's get the whole day in. So this is the whole day. All the way up here was the open of the market yesterday, and it's been mostly downhill. And as you can see, my first loss here. Now there's something interesting about this loss. If I zoom in a little bit to talk about this real quick. So there's a couple of things about this loss. One, in real time, the way the data was, it did satisfy a gold objective setup. I entered properly here. My entrance was proper. Now, what was not proper about this setup is I had made my stop loss be a little bit over this candle, and that actually was not where my stop was supposed to go. If I was sticking to the rules of my strategy, there's a line on my indicator that was further up, and really it needed to be above at least this swing here, even though it's kind of technically not a swing because the close is lower here. I'd say it has to be at least above this one. Really, it probably should have been above this one. Either way, it should have been above my line on my indicator. This was below it. The problem was that this was looking at a 10 plus point stop. And, quite frankly, in the moment, real time, I didn't want to risk 10 points to get 2 or 1.5 points. And I knew that on my PA accounts, if it went 10 points against me, I would have been auto liquidated and lost these PA accounts. So I had some psychology working against me on this trade. Didn't put the stop in the right place, got stopped out, only for it to end up going in my favor. And if my stop had been where it was supposed to be, I would have had a big drawdown, but I would have still been alive on all my accounts, and then it would have turned in my favor, and I would have got my 6 or 8 ticks, even after a big scare like this on this pullback. So that's one thing that could have saved me on a loss here. The second thing is I did a refresh on my data way later in the day, all the way down here after this trade, so not too long ago. Probably around 11 o'clock, I did a refresh. And when I did this refresh, it actually changed my bars. It actually changed my bars here. So if you go back, well, I'll show you after this in my live recording of the trade, these 2 bars did not look like this. And this bar didn't have any stem at all. And on my indicator, this bar was actually touching the line that I needed to touch before I can think about entering the next trade here below this one. So if I had my data refreshed, and if it looked like it looks like here right now, this actually wouldn't have qualified at all for a trade, whether it be white subjective or gold objective. This would have been a no trade at all. And so therefore I wouldn't have had a loss. So, a couple of reasons, a couple of things that could have kept me from a loss today. But the reality is, at the end of the day, nothing is 100%. There is not a setup, a strategy in the world that will ever give you 100% wins all the time, no matter what. And so we have to just accept that there will be losses. And like I said earlier, according to my data I'm collecting, I should be able to go 10, 11, 12, maybe more trades, wins in a row before I get a loss. Overall, that is what the probability looks like. We're talking about 90+%, potentially 95+% probability on these trades. So I'm going to get a loss sometimes, have to suck it up and accept it. Unfortunately, it happened on my first trade of the day, which did not feel well, did not feel good at all. But as you can see, I just stayed patient. I waited for my next setup. On my PB, these seem to be really, really good. Got my 8-tick scalp here. And then I got another PB on the way back down. Got another 8-tick scalp there. And then I got another LO here. Got my 6-tick scalp there. And a lot of patience. I was away for some of this time in here and came back and got a lovely gold LO here and got another 8-tick scalp there. And that was the trade that brought me all the way back into the green. So all in all, yeah, I would say high probability strategy can absorb a loss. And we saw it play out today. And 4-1, $185 on my PA accounts, $396 when you're adding them all up on my evaluation accounts, would have been a much greater day if I had had a 4-0 day without that loss at the beginning of the day, which, arguably could have been avoided. But it is what it is. We're green. We're still moving forward in the right direction on these accounts. And, as you can see here, my PA is now close to $1,000 from, about $900 from the trailing stop. So we're getting close. I think one more trade and I'll add a second contract on my trades on this account. On this PA account, we are close as well to being able to add an extra contract. I think I'll wait at least 1 or 2 more trades on this before I add an extra contract. And still we're not trading these 2 accounts yet. We're saving these as backups in case we have any issues. And this account renews on Friday. So a 4-0 day would have been terrific for me today on this account to try to pass it before it renews. But hey, renew or not, we're going to stick with it. And on these 3 accounts, we're in really good shape with plenty of time to just keep steadily taking trades and work towards passing these evaluations in the coming, let's call it 2 weeks, hopefully. So let's see where we go. I'm very happy with these results for now. And this is going to tend to be, this is definitely going to be a longer video since there's 5 trades that I'm going to let play out starting right now. Thanks for watching.
Order submitted.
Let's see if we get a setup here off this bar.
Order submitted.
doesn't look good. No.
Stop filled.
All right, there's my first loss on YouTube. This one was questionable. It was touching on the corner. I knew I was going into the previous day's low. So that one is disappointing. But losses do happen, and nothing is 100%. I thought we would be good here, actually. Got in at 38. So yeah, I really wasn't even close to my target there. What did we lose? $5.25 points. All right, so I'll go back and study this off stream later and see if I see anything that could have been a clue for me to stay out of that one. Look at this. If my stop had been 3 ticks higher here, I wouldn't have been hit and it would have turned into a win. So that's where the subjectiveness comes into play a little bit here. My stop is based on a line, and I had it basically where it's supposed to be, but there's nothing to say that, you know, it should have been higher by a few ticks or lower by a few ticks. Just one of those unfortunate situations where I got tagged and then it went to go ahead and I would have got my scalp. So, you know, if I placed it above this swing, which maybe would have made sense, I would have been safe here. But we'll take the loss and we'll learn from it and continue to test out the strategy. Right now I have 3 of say 4 of my factors for long, but there's one element that's not quite in place. So I'm going to wait and see if it develops here. I'm headed right back into this previous day low again, which I don't like that I traded into it the first time, and now I'm considering trading into it again.
Order filled.
All right, let's see what happens.
Target
Okay.
filled.
So we got that one. Takes a little bit of pressure off today. This was my signal bar here. This was my PB. We got 8 ticks on this. So we're 1-1 today so far. I liked everything about this except that I was headed back into this low of yesterday line again, which caused me a problem on the short on the way down. So I did reduce the number of contracts on this trade from 4 to 3. So I didn't get as much back as I would have if I was trading the same amount of contracts, but just because of Apex and the trailing drawdown stop liquidation system, the trailing drawdown, is just risking too much to still be trading 4 contracts when I just ate up almost half of my 2,500 drawdown. So that was a good trade. We'll stick around, and I'm going to have to stop early today, but stick around as long as I can and see if we could get some more of our money back here. All right, waiting to see what we've got here. There's a potential
Order submitted.
short to set up. It's a little bit of a long shot, but looking for a close down here, and I'm waiting on one element to get into place. I have 3 out of the 4 things that I'm looking for. So I'll just be ready down here just in case it that last thing comes together at the same time the bar closes. I have a feeling it won't quite be this bar. So not that bar. Some support here. So we'll see what my indicator says, whether this should be a trade or not if this closes bearish. I have a feeling this will be a no trade no matter what, but let's see here right at the end. Oh, I do have it. So I just need a second tick here. If I don't get a second tick, then that will invalidate the trade.
Order submitted. Order filled.
All right, got another one. So my PB is proving itself to be extremely consistent. Another 8-tick scalp. So we're clawing it all back. And we're back above 51 here. Not quite here. I had to lower the contracts on this one. I think I lowered the contracts on this one too. Each I lowered by 1 contract. And so we're 1 trade away here basically. Still a couple of trades here. But okay, so we're now 2 wins and 1 loss. And, you know, losses happen sometimes. Nothing is 100%. But going with this strategy, my belief is that the probabilities, even when I take a loss, I get so many more wins and losses that the 1 loss with the big loss with the big loss stop still is worth doing this strategy, because my win rate's going to be so high over time that I'll be able to absorb a loss like that. But let's keep looking for something else here. All right, I'm watching here for
Order
another
submitted.
short on this bar. Let's see how this bar finishes and what the next bar does. Find out as this closes. Yeah, so right now I would not trade this bar even if it closes bearish like I'm usually looking for. But if it comes back up a bit and then closes bearish and then I get another bearish bar down here, I'd probably enter that. So let's see, this is about as high as I want this bar to get. Even that 1 more tick was okay. So if this comes down and then I get another bearish bar down here, I'd take it to retest the lows. All depends on how this bar closes now. Okay, I like that. So let's see if we get a bearish bar here. We get a bearish bar down here that doesn't retrace at all, then I should be able to enter this. This would be my LO setup again. Goes much higher, I'm not going to be able to take this if it turns bearish. That's about as high as I want it to go. Let's see if it comes back down. No. Okay. So definitely, no matter what happens on this bar, I can't take it. It's possible this can finish bearish and then I can still take the next one. All right, Doji. If this finishes bearish, I can take it. Okay, I could take this if it goes 2 ticks below. Is it not going to pick me up?
Order submitted.
All right, we're in. I'm going to play this safe. It's already gone 7 ticks. So if I have to, I'm going to drop my stop at break even +1. You just don't want to take a chance on another loss that's already gone 7 ticks. Hopefully it goes down and gives me my profit. Either way, though, we can't lose this trade, so this is good. Come on, push down. One more tick. There you go. 8 or 6. Give me 8.
Order
Oh,
filled.
we got 6. Okay. 6 ticks, but we got another winning trade. So we're 3-1, and I like these red numbers way better than where we started. So this was my signal bar. This was the LO strategy or setup. Got 6 ticks on this one. I'll take it. And that's how the strategy is supposed to work. I started off with a loss. Probabilities say, nothing is 100%, but probabilities also say keep taking the setups because you got your one loss, and so you should be able to gather a bunch of wins in a row if the setups come. And we're nearly back to where we started, except for these 2 evaluation accounts that I had to lower by 1 contract on each of those accounts due to the trailing. So otherwise, we're essentially break even, and we would have been, about that as well there. So feeling good about the strategy. It was a tough start to the day. But we keep taking the setups as they come. As long as they fit the rules, we take the setup. If they don't fit the rules, we skip. And probability should be on our side with the strategy. We'll keep on going. So all in all, I just think that if there's any doubt about the setup, it's always best to skip. I don't need to make back these red numbers right away today. I'm actually in a really good place. It's practically as if I just didn't trade today, really, or just didn't get a trade. I'm basically break even minus commission on my PAs, which are the two most important accounts currently, and half of my evaluations as well. So, if I don't make this all back today, that's fine. I'm not going to enter a trade just to try to get back. It has to be a perfect gold objective setup, which maybe we're going to get something right now. Let's see how this bar ends. Okay, so I like this. If I get a bearish
Order
candle
submitted.
after this one that doesn't retrace at all up, I think we can enter this. Let's see what happens here. Going for a retest of the lows of the day. And right now, this looks like a very gold trade to me. So I will definitely take this if it gives it to us. Looks good. Just need 2 ticks.
Order submitted.
All right, we're in this trade. I'm always looking to move it to break even +1 if it goes to 7 ticks. There's 7 ticks, so I'm going to be careful here. Right,
Order failed.
We got it. Back to green. I like that. And we got an 8-tick scalp there. Beautiful. So we are now, what is that? 4 wins and 1 loss. Got a beautiful gold LO setup. And it just shows that, just stick to the probabilities. And, these gold setups on my strategy here are proving to be high probability setups. I mean, I'm talking in the 90%, maybe 95%, maybe even higher than that. So even with the loss today, can't get discouraged. It really sucks when it's the first trade of the day and you get a loss, and it was a rather large loss. So I was pretty far down, but you gotta stick with it. Take the setups as they come, and when you get a high probability setup, take it. If they're more questionable like these, probably better to skip. But when you get something like this that just fits the rules perfectly, there's no reason not to take it. A little bit of concern about going into the low of the day, but I had room. I had room right to the low of the day. So that's a trade I got to take every time. And this strategy is working. It is working. And, going back to that first trade, I'll talk about it in the summary. I see on further analysis, I really had my stop too low and it got hit. And there's a reason for it. So I'll talk about that later. But happy to be back in the green across the board, 4-1 for the day. I'm going to be stopping soon. So if I don't get another trade today, I'll be happy to sign off with these as my final tallies. But let's see what happens here for the next 20 minutes or so, maybe half hour.